Keshi, someone who people rally around from his time as a captain up until the Nations Cup earlier this year. Do you think he needs to do anything differently from what he did in SA? Or he's just stick with the plan? Because, I mean, the plan has shifted to the kind of players he has.
I want to differ a bit from what it said, because if you look at it very well, critically, sometimes, you know, a lot of people didn't give Keshi the chance during the last Nations Cup. Sometimes it might work, but it might not work every time. The fact that you should try to keep all players. One of the greatest weapons of every manager or coach is to have players that want to play for you, that want to die for you on the pitch. He has that, which is one of the greatest tools he has. Now, it might not work every time, because definitely we still need some of our key players. We know them. You might say, Odenwinke is a little bit heady, sometimes, but we still need players like that. These are players that scares defenders. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So try and balance things. But for me, the big boss has a way of instilling into these players that when they get to the pitch, they want to die for him. And that's going for him, working for him.
Let's talk a bit about the World Cup qualifiers now, just quickly. Are you worried, seeing how, with this final draw against Namibia, we would have qualified if we won that game, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and we picked up a draw. Do you think we can do it against Malawi?
Sure, we can.
When they come here?
If on Astro Turf, we could get a draw away from home. Here in Nigeria, we would beat Malawi. Malawi have little to play for. We have everything to play for. We are African champions. So I'm not worried. Because
the worry seems to be, even if we win the group, then we'll play against one other winner.
Sure, that's the next phase.
Can we pull it off against the Cote d'Ivoire or an Egypt?
I think when we get to that bridge.
we did it in the Nations. At Nations Cup, a lot of people were like, Drogba, the Ivorians, And these boys just got there and did the job. So why won't they now? They would.
Talking of Drogba, let's even talk about these teams we're playing against now in-depthly. Now we're talking about Spain. Now they are number one in the world. They've been number one for about 4 years now. 4 going on 5 years, I think. I said this when we were going to play Cote d'Ivoire that I wasn't going to watch the game, but I ended up watching it. And after the first 10 minutes, I was like, okay, Nigeria seems to be, What did you think we were going to expect in that particular game? Because I honestly am freaking out about that game.
Wow, yeah. Looking at it tactically, Spain plays a 4-6-0 formation. I call it 4-6-0.
And still beat teams 4-0 with no strikers.
That is the most fluid football you can get. It's not tiki-taka. It's tip-tap, on point, free-flowing football, champion football. Now, against Nigeria, I am going to see a match whereby we'll have to do a lot of running. I would advise Keshi. I know he's an experienced coach. You mark the space, not the players. A Spanish player does not hold the ball for more than 2-3 seconds. He releases it. So don't mark the player, mark the space. I am being optimistic here because I'm in Nigeria, but I know it. We played the Catalans.
Yeah.
And it was a 1-1 game. And this is it.
And a lot of the players are going to be in the same team. Because they're playing Nigeria versus Barcelona.
Once they can get their acts together, one thing, like he said at Benicio, Keshi needs to get his tactics spot on. Don't go too forward. If you can hit on the counter, then fine. Sit back, soak the pressure, hit on the brake, keep the boys in check. Let them be at the place they're supposed to be. And I see a very good game coming out of it.
When you see Sunday Mba, Mikel Obi, and that's midfield, and you look at the Spanish midfield, what are you expecting?
Names.
You have to take a deep breath.
David was able to kill Goliath, So football, sometimes names follow. You have to win on paper before you win on the field. So just like Zuby rightly said, I will just tell Keshi to hit the nail on the head. Don't just have second thoughts. Let the players go there, play to the point that people will watch and say, wow, are these really the super egos of Nigeria?
But isn't it advisable to go defensive against a team like Spain? You have let's look at the Champions League, for example. Now, this is the way. Chelsea, Barcelona. Chelsea, the only team that seems to have done it well up until this season when Bayern Munich annihilated them. You pack the bus.
There was a return leg. There was a second leg. This is not like the Champions League. This is, you have to win and accumulate your points. You don't have a second chance to go and gather up and prepare your strategies. You either win, get your point, or not. So if they can get a draw against Spain, it will be a very, very good result.
Hopefully we would have qualified before then, hopefully. But then we'll have to play Uruguay before that. And I saw a tweet on social media earlier, I think it was yesterday, about how Ghanaians were hoping that Nigeria would revenge for them because of the World Cup. So it's almost like the whole of Africa is basically behind Nigeria to do it back to them because they broke a lot of hearts at the World Cup. Do you think it's possible with Uruguay?
To be honest, I prefer Spain.
Because South Americans are not easy at all. Yeah.
We're talking about Cavani, one of the hottest strikers currently in the world. We're talking about Suarez, one of the most difficult strikers to play against. Now, Obabuna and Omero, no, they've shown great impact. Yeah, seriously, they have. But the Uruguayans, for me, if you want to win this game, I think we should just get beat Haiti first. Pile of pressure against Uruguay. We might get a result. But I'm saying we can beat Spain. Yeah. Seriously. They are beatable.
We've done it before, come on.
Yeah, we have. The Spanish team comprises most of them comprises from the Barcelona team.
Yeah.
And if you look at the recent results they're having, the recent annihilation from the Germans, it boils down to tactics. Mark them right high up front, not close to your own box. Mark them high up front. Don't give them space right from the half of the field. Mark them from there. Get a wide man that are pacey. You can beat Spain. Seriously, we can beat. I fear Uruguay. Seriously, I fear Uruguay. But
if I may add to that, it's simple. Every match with its own strategy.
Yeah.
What we use against Haiti should not be used against Uruguay. For me, the Uruguay match should be won in the midfield. South Americans are going to be very, very skillful, technically gifted, and fast. So keep them locked down in the midfield, then everything will be made simple.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being here. I still have faith in the Super Eagles. I always do, and I'm going to be watching that game, the first two games at least. And if you qualify for them, I'll watch Spain with an open heart. Thank you very much for joining us. And, good luck to Nigeria.
Yes, I could also chip in that this is going to be a carnival of sorts, and that was why FIFA just had to change the name. Yeah, they had to change the name to Kafusa, Carnival Football, Samba.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. Even at the end of the day, if we don't end up winning anything, but we'll come home with smiles that at least we witnessed the FIFA Confederation Cup 2013.
Thank you very much. Blessing. Nigeria get more blessings.
Yes.
On that, we'll be right back with more.